guys, Diana here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable mini albums from 2 sheets of paper. The sheets I used for this album were from a paper pad from one of the big buys or bonus buys from Michaels. These here I also got at Michaels. So now this album is probably going to cost about $1 to make, as you're going to see in the description why. But I bought, when Michaels has the $5 grab bags, they used to be $4. At the Michaels where I went, I bought it for $4. It was a box and it was really heavy, and it brought a whole bunch of designer papers. And look, this is foil paper. So when I did the calculations, I got each sheet of paper for 4 cents. I know, right? Isn't that crazy? So I am doing these from those papers. I was saving them and I'm like, oh my god, what am I going to do with them? And I thought this was the perfect little creation for them. Okay, so now let me just show you what the album looks like in the middle and in the inside. Okay, and I do have to decorate the cover and the back, which I will do in another video. So I just want to make my videos with the tutorial first, and then if you want to join me to see my process, then by all means, of course, join me. But this is going to be just a tutorial. So on this one here, we're going to open, and like I said, it's not finished. Okay, so when you open here, this has a flap, which I'm thinking of using Velcro to put a little Velcro dot to make sure that it closes. So this has that. Then you bring down the flap. Okay, and here I'm going to put, you know, a photo mat. Here you could put a piece of paper since it's just the white card. And here I've created a pocket, so it's a side pocket, and I also have a little card inside, which I might just put plain cardstock to be their photo mat. Okay, so here I have a waterfall, so you can just here, okay, and there. And then on this side I have exactly the same thing that I have on the left side. Okay, I have a little pocket here with a little card. So this little mini album here, and I would call it a pocket size album, it holds 12 pictures. So here 12 pictures, and then since you're closing this flap here, you can write a note. So I'm going to put here like a line piece of paper, cardstock with lines. I wish I had the stamp that you can put the lines, you can stamp it, because what I got to do is I have to take either printer paper and make lines, or I'm going to figure it out. But yes, that stamp I've seen, it's amazing. You put the lines and they have a place to write. So this would be to put a note. Let's say you're giving this for Mother's Day. This would be perfect with a little note here, and then you close it and you obviously cover and decorate the front and the back. So that's this one. So I'm going to make the one with the pineapples here using the same paper, and again it's exactly the same way. So you see here we have the little flap, we have a little side pocket, a little card, and we have here the little waterfall, and the same exact thing on this side. Oh. Okay, and then you can use, let's say, a magnet closure if you're going to put a photo mat here. I mean, you can play with it so much, but they all close like this. They're just super adorable. And I have these here that are in the mix. Okay, this one here is actually finished. Okay, look at this one, how beautiful. And these are all the papers that I got in that box. So I did get a lot, and I got some really nice ones for like weddings, decorative paper. So these are the ones that I'm using now. Okay, so now let's get started. So you're gonna need 2 sheets of paper, and what I will suggest is, because I cut one of mine a little off, to have 3 sheets of paper. So if you buy the papers separately, you know, sometimes they do put them on sale. Make sure that you get 3 just in case you make a mistake, or you can actually just use regular cardstock for the cards inside the pockets. I just use the paper since I have, I have the paper. But let's say you make a mistake, you can just use a piece of cardstock. So that way you can only, just buy 2. And look how beautiful the paper comes in its own little bag. Okay, so here we are. So now I'm going to take out my cutter, and I'm going to tell you how you have to cut. No, actually, the first thing that we're going to do is score. We're going to score the first sheet in, oh no, I'm getting myself confused. Okay, we're going to cut the first sheet of paper, on, and I chose this pattern because as you see the pineapples are all over the place, so they go every direction. You want to make sure, you got to be very careful when the pattern goes one direction only. Let's say like the flamingos here, they only go one direction, so that way here they're always gonna be flipped upside down, which is fine. But then once you, oh, this one is not even done, that's why. Once you put the waterfall here, they're gonna be, it's gonna be facing the right way, the waterfall. Okay, so that way, plus the sheet here is on the outside is facing up, so you just want to make sure. So that's why I'm using the pineapple here. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna cut one of the ends to 11 3/4. So here is, let's see, so you can see here. So 11 3/4, which is a really tiny piece. So that's the first thing that we're gonna do to the sheet of paper. Now we're gonna take our scoreboard. So on the scoreboard, what you want to do, and I know that sometimes people like to score their sheets, you know, either this way or that way. I always do the opposite of the way that I'm going to fold. So now we want to take this on the same side of the 11 3/4, which that's exactly where I'm at. My tool here. We're going to score at 3 3/4. So 3 3/4, which is here, all the way down. Then we're going to score at 4 inches. Then we're going to do 7 3/4, and then we're going to do 8. Okay, so again it's going to be 3 3/4, 4, 7 3/4, and then 8. And now we're going to turn it around, and this is where the directional paper you would have to pay attention to. So your top, you want to make sure that your design is facing a certain way. Okay, so just make sure that you know that the bottom part is going to be what flips in. So this is the bottom part, okay, and this will be your top part. I mean, once you do a couple of them, you're going to notice, you're going to know exactly what I'm saying. So now we're going to score this at, this is the 12-inch side, okay, so we already did the 11 3/4. This one's going to be 5 inches and 10 inches. Okay, so you see this is going to give you the flap at the top, this is the outside, okay, and this is going to be the inside. So now what we want to do is, let me move my scoreboard out the way. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm going to score on those lines. I'm going to fold, I'm sorry. Okay, on these lines here, on my score lines, I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, so we have that. Now you're going to take a pair of scissors, and what we're going to cut is, see where the score lines are? We're actually going to cut a little bit inside of the score lines here, okay? So we're going to cut that, and then I'm going to show you what you're going to do on the top. So as you see here, I'm cutting just outside that score line, right up to there, okay? So only on the bottom. Okay, and on this one too. And what this does is when you fold it, it gives you a little tiny bit of playroom so that when you close it, you don't have extra that's in the way. Okay, so now we'll fold these in or up, turn this over so that we can cut these little pieces off. Okay, so now you have, it's almost done. You see it taking shape? So now what we're going to do on the other side, I'll open this, we're going to cut this line here, right on the outside of the score line, right on the outside of the score line, because I removed the center. Okay, since this is for the waterfall, you don't want anything in the center. The only ones having flaps are the left and right side, okay? So now we're going to cut right here, only to that other line. Okay, let's fold that in. Okay. And now just be very careful when you cut here, but we're going to cut right on the very edge there of that score line. Perfect. Okay, so now this is what you should have. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my corner rounder and I'm going to round off the tops here. I'm using, this corner rounder here, but you could use whichever one you have. I use the biggest size that I have here, which is 10 millimeter. Okay. Okay. Then I have a round hole punch. Okay, so this is what I have here, and this is a 1 point, I've used it before, 1.629. It comes with my button press. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, before I even glue this down, I'm going to just now try to center it. You could use a ruler and make sure that it's perfect, and just cut a little slit there. See, that's going to form your pocket. And you're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to glue this. And now let's make sure, well, actually, I'm not going to burnish this just yet. I'm going to get my glue. And what we're going to do here, let's start off with the first one. Okay, so what we're going to do here, this has to stay open. So we're going to glue at the very top here and on this side here. Okay. Okay, now, got glue on me. You want to just make sure that it goes under that score line. Okay, and now we're going to burnish it down. See, there we are. Perfect. Okay, so make sure you go over it. Okay, we'll leave that to dry. Now on this one here, we're actually going to glue the entire piece. So this whole entire piece, we're going to glue here so that it holds our waterfall in place. So now I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on all the sides here. I put on my mat. And then just a little bit. Okay. And we're going to bring that up and make sure that it is exactly where it belongs. Okay, perfect. We'll give that time to dry there as well. And now we're going to do the opposite that we did here on here. So we're going to put glue right here on the bottom and on this side. See how quick and easy that is? And this is one sheet of paper so far. So yes, you'll see now with the second sheet of paper. Okay, let's put that in here. Perfect. Okay, so I want to make sure that it's not under. Okay, because what we want to make sure is that when it closes perfect. Another thing that I did on some of them is I cut a little tiny sliver off the top here before I glue it down, so that I don't have to be doing this and making sure that, it's not going to go up and this is going to be flat. So there you go, that's perfect. Okay, so now we have this done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut the other sheet of paper. So this here I'll put here to the side. See that? We're almost done. So now we're going to cut to add the flap here. So I'm going to take another piece of paper. Okay, make sure you follow me on Facebook, because on Facebook I'm going to have a diagram of how you're going to cut this piece of paper, because I know I've messed up a couple times. So I had to do a diagram to keep me on track so that I only use the 2 sheets of paper. So right now the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take 3.5 inches. So 3.5 inches is going to be for our waterfall. So you can see that that's exactly what I'm doing here. I have my 3.5. Let's put my paper in place here. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to cut the 3.5 here. And the 3.5 is going to be by 4. Close my glue before it dries. Okay, so we're going to do by 4. So that's going to give us 3. That's going to be for the waterfall. So 4. and 4, and then we're missing 1. I mean, you can only do 3 if you want, or you can do the 4, but we'll have enough for the 4. Okay, so this is the 3. Okay, then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to turn the paper sideways, and we're just going to cut just a piece just in case you need it for something else. So we want to make sure that, you know, we cut it in one piece. So it's going to be 10 and a half. So your sheet of paper should be 10 and a half. So that way you have 1.5 inches left over here. So this is scrap, this extra, okay? So now from this piece of paper that you have left, what we're going to do is we're going to cut 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 here. That's going to give us for the inside flap. So 3 3/4. Okay, 5 1/4. So 5 1/4, and they should be exact. So here we have our 2. These are going to be our flaps. So we have our 2 flaps. Now this sheet of paper here, you're going to do in 3 1/2. So this is, let's see, this sheet here should be 4 1/2 exactly. It is, oh no, it is not 4 1/2. We're going to cut here to 4 1/2. Okay, so that's a little piece of scrap there too. And now here we're going to do 3 1/2. So we're going to do 3 at 3 1/2. Okay, so this is going to be the card that goes inside the little insert. Another 3 1/2. Okay, and now this one here should be 3 1/2, which it is, and we're going to cut this side here to be 4 inches exactly. So this is going to be the other one that we need for the waterfall. So now we're going to take back our scoreboard. Okay, and what we're going to do here is we're going to score, not the 2 cards that go in the inserts. Those 2 cards are going to stay the same. We're going to score the 5 1/4, which is the flap, and you want to make sure, well, again, if it's the design, you want to make sure that when you put when you score, that it folds up with the design facing up. Okay, so here, I mean, it doesn't matter. So we're going to do 1/2 inch. Okay, so half an inch, 1/2 inch. Okay, and now we're going to do the waterfall at the 4 inch side. Okay, so I just put them all together there, just so I know. So the 4 inch side, we're going to do again 1/2 inch. Okay, so 1/2 inch. So that way you're left with 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. Move this to the side, and now what we're going to do, oops, get the scraps out, we are going to fold. Okay, make sure to burnish them well. And then, okay, so we have those 4 that are going to go in the center. And then this one here, so we're going to do all that. And what I did, as you saw in the ones that I have already, I'm going to say primes for the beginning, that I showed you in the beginning, these are already cut and they're just sitting here waiting for me. So I cut my 2 sheets waiting for me to get them done. Okay, so now let's bring this back, and what we're going to do is I'm going to round off these corners as well on the 2 flaps. So we get this mess out of here. We're going to put this card inside. Oh, actually, I want to round off one of the corners. You can round all of them. I round off one side. Okay. And put it away. Perfect. And we'll do the same thing to this side here. Isn't this so beautiful? Look at the gold. Oh, I love it. Love it. Okay, put this one on this side. Oh, I got stuck. But yeah, they fit perfect. Okay, so So now we'll do the flap here, okay? And you want to make sure you go all the way to the edge here where this starts. If anything, once you glue it and you have a little tiny piece out here, you just cut it with a scissor. Okay, so this is the fun part and the easy part. So we're going to put a little bit of glue. Okay. And then, like I said, just make sure you line it up here to the bottom. Okay, perfect. And just the glue takes a couple seconds, so I have to hold it here. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing to that side. What is this? Oh, it's a piece of scrap. Okay, put a little bit of glue here. And make sure you line it up with that edge there of the paper. Okay. Okay, so you see here how it's super easy. That one opens up this way. Opens, and then you have the little insert. Close perfect. Here, I think I might have a little tiny, yes I do, see? I don't know if you could really see it, but I have a little tiny snippet there that I'm just gonna take and with the scissors. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so now here in the center, we're gonna put the waterfall, and you can round the corners there if you like. You can leave it this way. I mean, it's totally up to you. Okay, so now we're gonna go and we're gonna put this right in the center. You want to try to leave equal amount of space on both sides there. Okay. And then we're going to put the next one right under this one. I feel this is super easy, especially for those of you that are intimidated by bigger albums. This is a perfect start. Okay, you want to make sure you line that there. You can also just fold this down to make sure that they line up, which this one is a little off. Okay. Okay, it's not too bad. Okay. And this is the same thing. If they don't line up perfectly, you can always just cut a little bit off with the scissor. And to be quite honest, you give it to someone, they're not even going to notice that it has like a teeny tiny bit out. So I wouldn't worry too much. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And see, you can leave this just like this because I mean, they're going to put a picture here anyways. Or since, you know, the paper does give for the 4, just do it with the 4. Okay, here we are. And now when you do put the last one, you might have a little bit that sticks out. Again, like I said, just take your scissor. Oh, this one doesn't. Okay. It didn't want to move with me. Okay. So we're going to see here that it does stick out. This one, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. That's because of the way we folded. So you just want to cut it off there. Okay. So now this is complete, and it closes like this and like this. See how quick and easy that was? Okay, so now I'm going to have a video on how to decorate this and put the ribbon and some nice little pineapples, a couple sentiments. Like I said, I'm either going to do Velcro dots or I'm going to do magnets. I might just do both in the video so that you guys see how it looks. I hope you like this tutorial. Again, follow me on social media. I'm going to put the diagram on how to cut the second sheet of paper so that you don't have to go crazy buying more paper. Okay, so again, I hope you like this tutorial. Make sure to comment below, hit the subscribe button, hit the likes. That would really, really help me out a lot. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.